And they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saratoga Racecourse. A fine Friday in the weather department. A mix of sun and clouds right now. The temperature will be in the 70s. The main track is fast. The turf courses are good. We're on the turf today for races 2, 7, and 9. On the turf for 2, 7, and 9. Please note the second race has been moved to the Mellon turf course. And the portable rails are up on the Mellon at 27 feet and on the inner turf at 9 feet. We have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of $63,344. Please note, jockey Gerard Ortiz Jr. will not be riding here today. So in the first race, the Times Square division of the New York Stallion Stakes, number 2, Captain Bombastic, make the rider Luis Saez. Saez on the 2, Captain Bombastic. Second race, and again, the second race will be run on the Mellon turf. Scratch 1, Big Al's Gal. 2, Make or Break. And 6, Her Ways. Scratch 1, 2, and 6. A rider change on the 4, Princess Fausia to Johnny Velasquez. Velasquez on the 4, Princess Fausia. In the third race, scratch 1, Warden of the North, and 8, Swordsman. Scratch 1 and 8. Number 4, Rejected Again, will now be ridden by Joel Rosario. Rosario on the 4, Rejected Again. In race 4, jockey change on the 1, Cobble Hill to Manny Franco. Franco rides the 1, Cobble Hill. An equipment change on number 4, Queen's Mason. He'll run with blinkers off. Blinkers off, number 4. Today's fifth race is off the turf. It will now be run on the main track at the same 5.5 furlong distance. Scratch 1, Dancehall Queen. 9, The Promised Road, and the also eligibles, 11, Herald Angel through the 14, Chili Choose. Scratch 1, 9, 11, 12, 13, and 14. There's a rider change on the 6, Ruby Stiletto, to Raylu Gutierrez. Gutierrez rides the 6, Ruby Stiletto. Sixth race, jockey change, number 3, Black Magic Woman. Manny Franco rides. Franco on the 3, Black Magic Woman. In today's seventh race, scratch 1A, Runaway Loot. 8, Thomas Shelby. 11, Big Engine, and 12, Mad Monies. Scratch 1A, 8, 11, and 12, and race 7 is on the turf. Jockey change on the 3, Mata, to Johnny Velasquez. Velasquez rides the 3, Mata, in race 7. In the eighth race, jockey change on the 2, Irish Front, to Joel Rosario. Rosario rides the 2, Irish Front, in race 8. The ninth race is the 25th running of the Grade 3 Lake George Stakes. Scratch number 7, Miss Papina. Scratch the 7. We're on the turf for race 9. Jockey change on the 8, Selflessly, to David Cohen. Cohen rides the 8, Selflessly. Race 10 is off the turf. It will now be run on the main track at the distance of 1 mile and a furlong. Race 10 off the turf, main track now, mile and a furlong. Scratch 9, Adorable Maya, and 10, Tuck In. Scratch 9 and 10. We have a couple of jockey changes. Number 7, Spin Your Partner. The rider will be Ricardo Santana Jr. Santana on the 7, Spin Your Partner. And number 11, Mizzen the Mark. The jockey is Joel Rosario. Rosario on the 11, Mizzen the Mark in race 10. Main track is fast. The turf courses are good. We're on the turf for races 2, 7, and 9. And note that the second race will now be run on the Mellon turf. Jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of more than $63,000. We'll come back at 12:30 to recap the changes. Today's first race post is at 1:10. Up next, the 32nd day edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringWater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Water. I'm Andy Serling, soon to be joined. I'm currently joined, but soon you'll get to see Anthony Stabile as we kick off what would have been Travers Weekend, and now we'll refer to it as Forgo and Sword Dancer Weekend. An excellent card on tap tomorrow, an excellent card today, actually, 10 races. We are off the turf in races 5 and 10. Race number 2 has been moved to the Mellon Turf course. All the courses are listed as good. We did have that rain. It really probably only lasted about an hour or so yesterday, but obviously it knocked out yesterday's card. But we've had a run of good weather here, and you know, we'll see how things go tomorrow. There is some rain predicted. But the good news about tomorrow's card, 8 of the 11 races are carded for the dirt, and 2 of the turf races are stakes. So even in lousy weather, it's going to be a terrific card that you won't want to miss. More on that later. You need to play that card, this card, every racetrack, everywhere, all around the world, and even intergalactically on Naira Bets. Support racing in New York. Play through Naira Bets. Keep the money in the game. We offer you a free $25 play and up to $200 of your deposit. Your initial deposit will match up to $200 of it. Use the promo code DERBY25. Also, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, we've been doing it the whole meet. Bet 25 or more to win the last here and the 4th at Del Mar, and we'll give you a free $5 if you play it through the app and the app only. Also, the Bankroll Builder is back tomorrow for next week's Kentucky Derby, your last chance, I believe. The Sword Dancer on Saturday. Be run as race number 9, is it? Number 9, I believe, in the card. You'll get $20, bet 50 to win on anybody, 50 or more, and you'll get $20 for the Kentucky Derby, whether you win or lose. The contests continue. 2 left. Sunday, the last 2 Sundays, we'll see those pools with $2,500. You must play through Naira Bets. Yet another reason to be a member of Naira Bets. $250 buy-in, all cash prizes, live money. Go to Naira.com/challenge to register. And finally, as you know, every day and all day, all the racing action will be on Saratoga Live. Tune in today from 1 to 6:30. Head over to Naira.com/Saratoga Live for details, and you can always watch on the Naira YouTube channel. Anthony, my man, how are you?
Morning. What's happening?
Nice day today.
Yeah.
You know, that way. I mean, it turned into just a dreary day yesterday, but at least the rain stopped. But, you know, you make the most of it. And I'll tell you, when horses like what was the horse's name? Not Declaration of War. That's
Empire of War.
Empire of War pay $6.50 in 4-horse fields, and people can laugh. There is great value in off-the-turf races, so you should always be doing whatever you can to pay attention to those off-the-turf races, because I'm fairly sure if that race had been originally carded as a dirt race with those 4 horses, you wouldn't have gotten $6.50. Maybe I'm wrong.
I queued up a pretty large win bet and was waiting for the 9 to 5 to even money.
No, but the horse was clearly
the second choice. And then he went 9 to 5 to 2 to 1, and I literally got it in just in the nick of time. And it wasn't even 2 to 1. It was $6.50.
Right. Yeah, you know, scoff at value, but the reality is that would be like a $20. Horses should pay $20, paying $45.
The other 3 horses had never run on the dirt.
One of them had run unsuccessfully. They had never run?
I don't believe any of them. I know Seismic Wave hadn't run on the turf.
And he had run against real horses. Anyhow,
yeah.
I can't say enough. I mean, listen, we don't want to sit here looking at a whole, month of 4-horse and 5-horse fields off the turf. We get it, but that doesn't mean that you're not supposed to pay attention. And you know what? You can look and say,
make the best
these
of
races. Well, you could look and say these races do nothing for me. I'll pass. Even that horse of Joe Sharp's that paid $25 later in the day. I mean, how was that horse 11 to 1 in that race? Why was the entry 3 to 5? There's only one half the entry had a chance in there anyway. Anyhow,
you were right about that entry.
They weren't special. I mean, I thought that the Danny Gargan was a very likely winner. I ran 3rd in there, but I did have the winner 3rd. It's not like I
There was a pretty substantial show bet on that entry too. I believe we looked at 24 of the 32,000. And the funny thing is, there was a nose away. If the 5 gets up over Glass Ceiling, the 2 horses that had like 90% of the show pool would have been out.
Yeah. You make
very
a
close
point.
to very close to
Should
a nice little
work? We got
score.
10 to talk about.
Sure.
Let's talk about the first race and the 2 horses that are going to take the most money, and they are much the 2 horse to beat, and that's Captain Bombastic winning the Mike Lee and Dream Bigger on the outside. We went in different directions, though I don't think either one of us feels super strong either way. I know Captain Bombastic ran poorly I'm sorry, he ran well in the Jerseys. I'm thinking the other one, 3 Techniques. I like Captain Bombastic. This was off a layoff. I also don't think that Dream Bigger is going to be walking on the front end. I mean, Slash Gordon has some speed. I just feel as though Captain Bombastic is not slow anyway. I just think he's a better horse, Anthony.
I don't disagree. I do think he's a better horse. I do believe Dream Bigger is going to have it his own way on the front end.
I know.
I just think he's faster.
All right, cool. I'm not sure.
Herodotus Jr. off everything again today. Louis Saez will ride the 2. Captain Bombastic today, and Louis piloted him to victory in the Mike Lee.
Who is riding?
Louis Saez will be riding Captain Bombastic today. So
we hope that Irad is healthy and can ride tomorrow, by the way.
Yes.
We send our best wishes to him. Irad, if you don't know, was hurt in a gate incident. I believe his arm took off yesterday.
Wednesday.
He's day-to-day. He's not...
day-to-day, so hopefully we see him back for a big weekend. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I don't... Captain Bombastic could absolutely win this race. Dream Bigger could win this race. I would be surprised if anybody else won this race.
I think you're disregarding a little bit that Slash Gordon ran at Aqueduct at a time that 23 1/5 for the first quarter was an extremely fast first quarter. So I think you're kind of dismissing it based on the time.
No.
He's quick, that horse.
No, I understand he is. I do. I get that he is.
And Dream Bigger is not a good gate horse. He caused gate problems again last time when he came out. Last 2 times, he's had some gate issues, Anthony.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong.
He should probably start in a separate gate.
An auxiliary gate? They don't even exist for the Derby anymore.
Yeah, I think the pace will be a little more contested than you. We'll see how it plays out in race number 1, which is the New York Stallion, Times Square division.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we have like the Congress Park division here or something? In Saratoga?
Oh, that would be a good idea.
Times Square while we're at the Big A. I like that. Race number 2, Big Al's Gal did scratch. You know, if Big Al's Gal had run, almost all of my family, including Pet, would have had horses this week. Got my dad's name, my mom and our cat, my brother yesterday, except my sister. There was this horse with my sister's name years ago. I'm not releasing that information. She's on Twitter. I wouldn't want anybody to find out.
Okay. Wow. Very secretive. CIA-esque. Maybe you're an agent.
Shall we watch the stretch run of the Princess Fauzia Come Storming Hurricane Breeze race?
I mean, that sounds like a great idea. John Velasquez is going to ride Princess Fauzia today.
And why do you like Come Storming out of this race?
I do believe that Come Storming is going to get to do what she likes to do today, and that's be in front. I think Louis Saez.
You think he'll go over Princess Fauzia over Johnny?
I believe she will have the lead.
You thought Javier made a mistake rating last time.
I do.
I don't disagree.
I do.
I don't disagree.
And that race, that was just a weird race, but Princess Fauzia kind of found herself on the lead on a pretty slow pace. I thought it would be more contested than it actually was last time, and it kind of neutralized some of the other horses. That was the Lido Key race where Lido Key didn't take any money. She came back and ran third. It was a strange race, and I think Princess Fauzia gets taken out of the game a little bit today because I do believe Louis Saez will be aggressive with Come Storming and put her on the lead, and that's where I think she'd really rather be.
I don't disagree with that notion. I'm not as clear as you are that Come Storming is going to be in front. I don't want to guess paces around here. There's a randomness. Princess Fauzia is quick, and I'm not sure why Linda Rice and Johnny V would want to take away what's worked so well for her. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't have a strong opinion. I don't feel strongly. I do think if he wants to be aggressive, he can have the lead, and I didn't love that either. See, I think the horse that was the most compromised last time was Hurricane Breeze, and I'm not sure what happened or why Jose ended up as far back with her as he did last time, because honestly, based on her other races, she wasn't supposed to be that far back in the pack. And right. I just feel, though, she didn't have a bad trip from there. And she tried to follow the winner a little bit, but, I just maybe I'm wrong. I felt she was left with too much to do in that race. And in this race with a smaller field, I just think that Jose can't help but be closer to the pace. And I really do think it'll make a difference. Maybe it won't, but I was taking her. I don't have a strong opinion on all three of them. I think they all can win. Oh, but I did. The first person I saw on the way in, Christophe Clement.
First person I saw on the way in was Gary Siaka. Chowda's in the first.
Really?
Very interesting.
Okay, I think I don't know who has a better chance. Actually, Gary did a great job with Chowda, by the way.
He has.
That horse really improved. I mean, I don't know if she can win. We didn't
Distance-
talk about
distance
him.
might be a problem for him.
I don't know. I don't think distance will be a problem for him. He won at 6.5 furlongs with a 71 buyer.
I think he's a little bit better.
I don't have any evidence that's true.
Okay.
His second best race was Breaking His Maiden at 6.5, but you retrofit those opinions because we dismissed him. I don't know if he's good enough. And coming off a layoff against those horses is the problem more than the
Yeah, he's got
distance.
to run against a couple of really fast horses. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion, Anthony. I think one of these three will win, and I prefer Hurricane Breeze, and I'm hoping that she's the biggest price. We'll see, but I'm not.
Okay.
You've got Christophe second.
I do. When Big Al's Gal was in here from a rail draw with Lascano, I thought there was a chance to be a little bit more contention on the front end. Now maybe Princess Fauzia.
You're waiting for that, dude, aren't you? That contention on the front end in a turf race.
I'm
no
just
less.
saying, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a little pace in here. And Timeless Journey ran well when dropping into the tag last time out. And
it's nice to see, by the way, Martin Panza getting his exercise. He's actually walked all the way over towards the backyard, not usually staying in this area. Think that's his exercise? We report on the people that come out in the area.
he's on the phone. He's a wanderer.
Okay. All right, that's race number 2. Race number 3 at 6 furlongs. I like Christophe Clement in here. I was all over Swordsman. Christophe let me down. Now with the scratches and with Warden of the North coming out, there's not a lot going on in here.
No, there's not. I looked at this race a few times because it kind of made too much sense to me for a horse that was 56.5 to 1 last time to be, to me, clearly the horse to beat in here, the number 6, Principal Dancer. Barnes been going really well up here. Jimmy Bond, of course. I would imagine Rejected Again off the 5-month layoff is going to go to the lead. Joel Rosario rides Rejected Again, by the way.
Thank you.
You got it. I got to imagine that Luis Saez just sits right off of Principal Dancer, just sits right off of him.
About Bank
Maybe
on
Bank
this?
on This goes.
Even Eric Cancel shouldn't be back to last with that horse.
I just got to think that this horse is sitting second or third today to the speeds.
Probably. His last race actually he ran well. I mean, that was a pace that, while not particularly fast in and of itself, did somewhat come apart. And No Lime came back and probably would have won if he wasn't bearing in so badly and lugging in the stretch. So I have no problem. That race may be a bit liver than the fig suggests, and he's got the recency over Rejected Again. I'm just hoping the Rejected Again is the clear speed, and I actually thought Rejected Again's last race was pretty good and a real step forward for him. I'm not in love with them. They're the 2 horses in the race. I like the 8, and I went 8-4-6. I end up with 4-6 in here. I feel like one of these 2 are supposed to win. What are you looking for with Continuum?
Man, I know. Horse kind of lost a little bit of position early on last time with the break.
No, he didn't. He was horrendous last time.
And then just wound up in the parking lot.
No, he didn't.
I don't know.
No, he didn't. He was rail on the turn. He was 2 to 3.
He
was rail ended the turn.
Ended up.
But he was awful. He was 2 to 3 wide in the turn, so he went out in the stretch.
He was originally my 4th horse. I had 6-8-1 in here. So
I tried to make a case for him because of the Asmussen barn, but I wonder what the numbers are for the Asmussen barn for non-2-year-olds. I should actually look that up. Horses that aren't 2.
We'll see 5 2-year-old races up here.
At least, right? Yeah. I mean, it just feels like the 2-year-olds, they're not doing much. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I think the numbers are probably mirrored.
You think he's run that many 2-year-olds? Maybe he's run 20 2-year-olds?
18, 20. Yeah,
maybe,
probably.
You think? Yeah, maybe you're right. I'll look it up. I don't like this horse. He just can't. Seems to me he can't run.
Like I said, he was my 4th choice originally. I had 6-8-1, and you got to fill it out. I'm leaning heavily on Principal Dancer today.
Really?
Yeah. And believe me, not one of the 2 lives for 16 is not really the place I like to take my stand at a short price.
The horse is going to be a very short price.
Yeah. I just can't
race
see
number 4.
else.
6.5 furlongs. We'll take a look at the number 2 Stage Left, who you have second in here. this is winning 2 races back. They got a little overly aggressive with him last time, running against Everfast, who's running back in the Famished, who's running back in the Forgo tomorrow. I just think he runs back to this race and he's going to devour this field.
Yeah, he probably
I think
will.
even his last race wasn't that bad. He was over his head, and I just thought he was. I mean, on paper, he's a layup to me. Maybe he won't run back to it. Maybe he's not reliable. Wesley Ward has had a strong meet. Sources have run, and it's not like he's doing it with a bunch of 2-year-olds, you know. Sources have run. I thought he was a logical horse. Why is Cobble Hill going to beat him?
I feel like the race 2 back for stage left is kind of the, that's the green, the sore thumb. It's a little, it's almost too fast for him.
I don't know. If you look at Timeform US and you looked at pace figures, his last 3 races are actually very similar. So for what it's worth.
All right. Well, Bayer has him 13 points.
I know he does.
different.
6.5 furlong races sometimes. I think they're a little bit on the high side.
Okay.
Because I don't like your horse Cobble Hill. What am I missing about him?
Well, I mean, he's just. I mean, isn't he the informed horse in here?
Not really. Not to me. I don't. I think his races are overblown. I'm not sure they're as good as they look, but maybe I'm wrong.
I just think he's the horse that's informed, and especially since the layoff from October to June of this year, he's reliable. And in these star allowance races,
He's gotten very, very good trips in
he
those
has,
races.
but
Very,
you know what?
very good trips.
And Manny Franco's going to ride Cobble Hill today.
Thank you.
I have to imagine that. Look, he has gotten good trips, but he's also gotten better, and I think.
Has he?
I think he has. And as the talent comes along, I think you put yourself in better spots. He has gotten some very good rides and some very good trips. I'm not going to deny that, but he gets Manny Franco today.
Okay. I don't like this horse, but
Yeah.
okay. Doesn't
I mean,
make him not a winner.
again, this was another race where I thought it was.
Didn't get him.
I kind of thought it was 1s and 2s.
And what about Mr. Bobby? You don't. We'll take a look at Mr. Bobby running second, 2 back.
I mean, what happened last time?
He was hideous last time. He runs this race, and he can win.
Well, let me ask you this though: don't you kind of worry that now in here he's just kind of the only other horse that fired in this race? I mean,
No.
Big Boy Mo is Big Boy Mo really a starter allowance type? That's the horse that's third.
Well,
and
I don't know what that means.
He's a long way back.
But
he's just a long way
this
back.
horse ran, and he lost to Riken, who was in great form.
What happened last
was
time,
able to
Andy?
No, I agree. He was hideous last time. I totally agree with you. I agree. That's the thing about him. If he runs back to his last race, he's getting absolutely nothing in this race.
He's
There's
also
no
one of
question
these.
about
He's
it.
also one of these horses, and I know you'll make fun of me for saying this, but I don't like horse. I tend to stay away from horses that never cross the wire first. His horse got put up via DQ in his maiden win.
Okay.
He's never actually won a horse race. Horses like that, they bother me.
I
But
hear what
he's
you're
the
saying.
third, for me, he's the third likeliest winner of the race. But I just don't know what happened for a
We're
barn.
at 52 lunches.
for
We
a-
haven't bet a lunch in a while. and
1s
he's
and 5s, yeah, I think 1s and 5. Take 2.
I don't like the one. Okay, I'll bet 1 lunch.
All right.
5 over 1.
And what bothers me about his race even more is how well the barn is going, and he didn't run 2 steps.
I don't disagree with any of that. I'm not, believe me, I'm not. He concerns me because the barn's going so well, and I feel like if you take out his last race, and by the way, you know me, I don't just dismiss bad races, but he's not going to be a short price. And if you take out his last race, he can win this race. I don't like Cobble Hill at all, so
Okay.
I may be wrong. And I think that Mr. Bobby makes a lot of sense if you take out his last race. But no question, his last race, I have no excuse for him. He stunk.
None.
He was awful in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. The race was kind of somewhat gifted to him. Maybe he was. The one thing I guess you could say is ultimately was he a little too close to the pace.
Was he chasing
but
it fast?
Still,
Yeah, maybe.
Still, I agree. He was bad. All right, race number 5, which ends the early pick 5, is off the turf. And we'll take a look at Party at Pages, who's going to be an overwhelming favorite in this race, justifiably so. And I don't see any reason to try to beat this horse.
I don't either. Yeah, on the lead. This is not Party at Pages.
What's that? What happened?
That was not Party
That
at
was not.
Pages.
Yes, it was not. Oh, that was Harold Angel.
That's Party at Pages.
That's Party Pages.
Who is,
he lost to Ray Handel. He lost that Ray Handel guy. Is that a knock? Losing to Ray Handel, who, by the way, was going to buy us dinner. I haven't heard a peep.
I haven't heard a peep either.
You know what? He hasn't won a race, I think, since he offered to buy us dinner.
I would stay away then too. This horse, Irish
we should have
Constitution,
dinner.
looks like she is going to go by 3 or 4 different times in the lane and gets her right there.
I just think it was a good race. I
do
think they
too.
both ran very well.
I do too. She just dug in. This filly was very good. She was kind of ignored at the windows at over 11-1.
Well, there was the other Jeremiah horse that was the $500,000 horse that finished third in there and had a trip.
Right.
And the $10,000 one almost won.
Right. The expensive one kind of broke poorly and rushed
no,
up.
she ran okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's just supposed to, if she can repeat this race, she gets to stay at the 5.5 furlongs off the turf.
Well, you're Rudy Love here.
Inside again.
Ruby Stiletto.
Source took too much money for me to believe that the first race
It was a bad field. She wasn't really betting there, Anthony. They didn't know what they were doing in that race.
Bringing it back quick. Put some blinkers
there was a
on.
6-horse field.
Arad was going to stay. It is now Raylu Gutierrez on the number 6, Ruby Stiletto.
Hey, Lou.
Gets the blinkers on. It was too bad for a horse that took some money to believe.
The money, you're thinking the horse took money. I think the horse was dead.
Okay.
I really don't think that horse was betting there. They weren't betting. The winner was the only one they bet.
Maybe
the
you're
Matisse's at 5-1. But you're really very mean.
I mean, what else? Where else do you want to go in here?
Well,
you got a war dancer on the dirt.
Look at the owner of You Should Be Dancing. The man who is sponsoring Talking Horses as a first-time starter in a race where, other than the two, you can't possibly like anybody, and you've completely dismissed the poor guy's horse. You really are trash. You really are. Look,
I'm a scoundrel.
You really are a bad man.
I feel terrible right now.
You really are.
I feel terrible.
How could you leave Adam's horse out?
That's terrible of me.
So, to be fair, I'm hoping Adam's horse does well, and I figured in a race where they were all going to run on the turf, none of them looked like they could do any running to me on the dirt. I figured I'd throw in a long shot for Adam Madcore and his wife Carol, who, of course, Adam owns Saratoga Water, and he's our fine sponsor of Talking Horses.
I'm rooting, Adam.
It's not a tip. I have no idea if this horse can run, but I'll be rooting for Adam to do well. You know, and I mean, like the Steve Asmussen horse. For Steve Asmussen to enter a horse in a turf, first time out in turf sprint, that's usually a sign. That's the 7. She's a Majestic. And listen, obviously, they have their horses ready. That's a negative. Steve's 1 for 40 with 2-year-old first-time stars in turf sprints. So it's almost like he's saying when they do that, this horse just can't run. Tangerine Dream, who's kind of an interesting horse, but Rosa Salvaje, she was a really good turf sprinter. Lisa Lewis had her, I think, right? Yep. So it's like I thought the 4, Violentium, was a little interesting in here, but once again, it's all turf. And doesn't mean they can't win in the dirt. And are we limited to 8 starters in a 5.5 furlong race in the dirt?
So
why would the MTOs knock it in?
Yeah, no, Gary Siaka actually.
Well, the 13 is entered.
Gary Siaka actually scratched her, so I guess she could have run.
Okay, because Blame It on Mary is entered on Sunday.
Yeah,
so that's why. So maybe I'm wrong.
Chili Chews was actually a voluntary scratch from Gary.
Working well at Colonial.
Yeah, Blame It on Mary, I believe, is in Sunday.
Yes,
so,
correct.
There you go.
Yep.
And they got enough horses to stay
Party
in.
on Page's Race to Lose. Shall we take a break?
Yes, I would like to take a sip of my wonderful vitamin.
It's too late, Anthony.
Saratoga Water.
It's too late. It's too late. You can't make it up now. You can do all the sucking up you want. You had your chance.
I need to suck up. Thank you.
And you blew it.
Thank you, Steve. I needed a close-up here. We'll be back after a brief word from our friends
in the show.
over at Saratoga Water.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringWater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Water. He's the big A, Anthony Stabile. I'm not. Race number 6, I thought, was one of the more, sort of interesting races on the card because it features a return just 23 days of Black Magic Woman, who we'll take a look at here running 3rd. And I know 7 furlong first-time starter, but she was 75 cents the dollar. Rumored to be the second coming of Hindu. Todd Pledger horses like this, they're just not supposed to lose. Now Todd comes back in 3 weeks. She may win. It's a half a furlong shorter. I got to tell you, I got a bad feeling about this horse.
I don't. Star Wars movie. Manny Franco's going to ride Black Magic Woman today.
Shouldn't Ricardo Santana ride
her? Very good. Very good. I actually sang the wrong song on HRRN the last time. I don't know. I found...
You're playing air guitar?
I think I sang Evil Woman instead of Black Magic Woman. Yeah, I got all goofy. It was a long day. Colk's start. She broke from the rail, and she needed a little encouragement to get away from the gate. I don't think you want to bet on horses. I don't think anybody expected with that brilliant workout report at 3 to 5 for a horse to essentially break last and have to get jacked out of there.
She didn't break badly, though. She didn't break badly.
She did not.
It's a bit of an illusion. It's a bit of an illusion.
I don't know about that. I don't like the way she broke last time.
Okay. I don't like the way she ran.
23 days. Not a usual move for the barn.
I mean, maybe Todd is saying, I know she's better than that. I got to get her back in.
Perhaps.
I don't know, man. I don't trust this horse
and
at all.
I wonder when you see a move like this, are you, I don't want to say rushing, but are you trying to get them out of the maiden ranks for a race like the Frizette? Like, what is the plan?
Are you trying to win the trainer title?
Good? Trying to win the trainer title, right? What is the plan here? The 23 days, he did it a few years ago with Syndergaard. Syndergaard broke his maiden, he came back and he won the funny side.
He ran very well when he won the funny side, didn't he?
He did. This is not a usual move for the barn, and
I just don't like this horse's first race.
This isn't the easiest
No, I agree,
race.
and I just don't like this horse's first race. I'm not sure what to do with Davima, who lost last time, but, in front came back to win and ran well, so I don't think it was a bad loss for her. The reality of her is Union Rags has not really been a good turf sire, and she's a half-to-secret gypsy who set a track record when she broke her maiden up here for Ronnie Warner, and she won the honorable miss.
Old Arundel horse, I believe.
So maybe this is really the surface this horse was supposed to be on all the time.
You and I questioned her being on the turf the first time, and we're almost completely made fools out of. Wouldn't be the first time for that either. Well, she got beat to her stablemate that day. She got beat to her stablemate, cost benefit, who came back to not run very well. Now, she came back and lost it in front. So, right.
This is an unusual move for Chad Brown.
It's a very unusual move. Right, she has the 2. She has 1-1-turn turf race, 1-2-turn turf race. She cuts back to the sprint on the dirt. She had dirt pedigree, but she was on turf first time out. The other thing that I think is a little troubling is she's beat a nose, she gets beat a neck.
Yeah, I hear you, but she lost a okay horse. I don't think that cost benefit's a bad horse. I think Trip probably wouldn't work out for her last time in a race that collapsed. Even Back Channel can win this race. I mean, what's wrong with her races? She's run fine in her races. I mean, I think she's a very logical horse, and she may be a bigger price than should be because they're overbetting sort of the Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher situation, and she ran significantly better than Black Magic Woman did in her race, and we don't know if Davima what she's going to do. So you've gone to Bill Mott on the outside. I don't like this horse at all.
Why not?
I don't like the race she's coming out of. But a very poor race.
I don't know about the race. I mean, I probably would agree with the race she's coming out of, but at the very least, she did some running late. She made up a lot of ground late in the game.
She didn't. It was the Life of 10 horse who can't run was chasing the winner around the track, and she fell apart, and she picked up the pieces sort of at the end. She didn't. She had a perfect trip.
I felt like she made up a lot of ground late in the game, and maybe she was picking up.
They came to the last 16th in 7 and 5 seconds.
I know, but I still think she did some running. Now we haven't seen her for 10 months.
Yeah, I didn't like this horse at all.
I like the work tab. I like the last 2 works. A little aggressive the last 2 works.
You like the trainer.
I like the trainer. Johnny V's going to ride. I don't know. She's a little bit of a fuzzy.
You've got a lot of Johnny V. Was Johnny V? Was he his go-to guy? I thought that Junior was kind of more the go-to guy.
She's a little bit of a fuzzy in a race where I have some question marks about the.
You think she's a fuzzy?
I think she's going to. I don't. See, I think she's going to be 5-6 to 1. Maybe a little higher.
Depends how they bet the race.
And let's see how
I'm not sure Davima's. I don't think Davima's going to be favored over Black Magic Woman. See, I don't agree with David there at all. I think they're going back in for Black Magic Woman.
I believe Black Magic Woman will be the favorite. I believe Davima's going to take money. Back Channel will take money. And let's see what your horse takes.
I just told him mine's a total guess. I don't have a tip. This horse did work 10 flat at the 2-year-old sale, Lady Rocket. Now, that was over a year ago. I understand. But you know what? This horse was working at Churchill. And Brad Cox shipped the horse here to run. I got to think there's probably now. I didn't look at the book.
Keeneland, then Churchill.
I didn't look at the book, but I got to think there's a maiden race coming up at Churchill. Why ship this horse all the way to here if the horse can't run? I mean, I'm not saying she's going to win, but if she can't run, why would they bother? You know what I mean?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's sort of what caught my eye, and I'm just kind of not in love with any of the others here. So that's where I went. Okay. I'm going to try a little 1-2-6. We'll see. I'm not saying that I'm going to be shocked when Black Magic Woman wins, but I don't think she'll be the second choice. I believe she'll be favored, and I don't like her race. So
I think
we'll
the
see.
2 horses that'll take the bulk of the money here have some questions to answer.
So race number 7. I really thought you'd go back to your horse Ghoul in here. We'll take a look at the race where Back to His Roots ran second. I think Ghoul did well because this was a race where Saif, I don't know why Javier rated this horse last time. It's the second time he's done a turf sprint. I'm sure he did it thinking it would be the right idea. It wasn't. A horse with no speed got to the front. I do think that the horse who ran second ran fine Back to His Roots. And I think the Ghoul ran very well in finishing third, given that there was no pace in here and was the only horse to do any running in there. I just don't know. I mean, the problem you have taking Saif is, well, he can't make the lead in this race. I mean, there's an absolute rocket ship in here in Rocket Heat. I mean, what is Rocket Heat going to do in here?
Well, let's see how Rocket Heat...
The fastest horse in the country. You may not like him, that's fine. But he's literally might be as fast a turf sprinter as there is in the country. I don't see how Saif can possibly deal with him. And by the way, I don't think he's the only one. I mean, New York's Finest is going to go. Kendrick's not going to rate him. Fast Getaway on the outside's got to be at least contentious. I mean, Saif's in a little trouble, isn't he?
Yes, he could be. He could be. After the last time, I would think Jose Ortiz is going to do whatever he possibly can to get this horse to the lead today.
He can't be in front, Anthony. There's Rocket.
He shouldn't be in front.
No. Unless Rocket Heat falls down coming out of the gate, he can't be. Rocket Heat is literally as fast a turf sprinter as there is in the country. You don't want the horse going for Mikey T and all that stuff. That's fine. I think he's the speed of the speed, and that's why I put him second, because something else about him. He's a pretty darn good horse.
He is, but he's been gone a while.
I don't trust him at all, Anthony. But you're trying to get a horse that's just not close to being the speed somehow to the front in here.
Well, I'm hoping Jose, and you might be right.
It's a short price, too.
Yeah, you might be right when all's said and done.
Bad ride last time or not. The other thing about him is he's a little faint-hearted, this horse.
Yeah, no, listen, a lot of valid points.
Yeah.
There's a lot of valid points. I wanted to give him one chance on the rider change. I almost went back to my boy Ghoul, which would have been a very predictable move on my part. But
well, I mean, I don't have any problem with Ghoul.
No.
The only thing about it is he's kind of obvious. He's the closer in a race pack with speed. I want a horse that's going to be a little close to the front. And, you know, my feeling with Mata is...
John Velasquez, by the way.
Thank you.
Mata.
Mata's just improving. Mata seems like a horse that's lightly raced as opposed to all these other horses whose form is totally exposed. Mata's improving. I'm a big fan of Mike Trombetta, who I think does a terrific job. He's done a good job with the horse he shipped to New York over the last few years after sort of a bad run a number of years back when I was teasing him mercilessly. The horse that beat him last time, you know, I don't know, not that good, but is a speed, but really ran. And that last race was a fast race. And I'm hoping he's just kind of the sneaky new face in here. I mean, he looked like a horse that was sort of too cheap, and I just think he's improving.
Okay.
And I think he's going to get a good trip in here, and he's going to be a square enough price. It's a very hard race.
I thought Battle Station was a little interesting. Horse that's 2 for 3 in Saratoga in his career, likes the distance. He should benefit from the pace. Actress Barn is, you know, horses have been running the second half of the meet. He's going to be a good price.
It's a good field. He ran with a Delaware, two back. No, he's not impossible. Now, when he was winning here, he was in Wesley Ward's barn, right?
Yes.
You know.
Old Ramsey horse.
No. I listen. I mean,
he's dangerous because you're likely going to be right about the pace in here. He's supposed to be coming with gold.
He doesn't need the lead. I agree.
No.
And I think Back to His Roots can win here. I mean, why am I supposed to knock this horse? He's improving for John Terranova. He's like a now horse who's improving. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of horses can win this race. This is a very, very interesting race.
And he's another one that was probably compromised by.
Now, he was close enough. He set everything just off of the slow pace last time out, so that helped him in there. It's a tricky race, you know. This is not the field that Saif signed on last time. We'll see what happens. Glad this race stayed on. I thought this was a fascinating race.
Yeah,
sun's out. It's nice. Are you jealous you're not in that meeting right now? Tell the truth. Race number 8, Irish Front. What do we do with Irish Front?
Get me in trouble, I think.
You're already in trouble after your performance in the 5th race. No, that's
the 5th race. Oh,
we're all over the place.
Oh, that's
here.
what you were getting me. There you go. All right. So here's Irish Front. getting the job done.
He ran terrific last time. I have no knock on him. I just feel like last time was the time. Todd has very good numbers on percentage terms coming back off of maiden wins and dirt sprints. The problem is he doesn't have a very good ROI. And I thought this horse would be an overwhelming favorite in here. And maybe he should be.
Joel Rosario is going to ride Irish Front. Yeah. Look, I don't know where the true speed is coming from in here.
It's him.
It's probably him.
It's him.
Right?
I know where it is.
Yeah.
He's fast.
I mean, he's a fast horse. I think he also has the versatility where if somebody does decide to try to blast off in here, he'll just sit second to them like he did last time.
Who's going to blast off in here?
I don't know.
You're imagining a
No,
blast off.
I'm
Here's actually, I'm sorry. I disagree with
What
the pace.
about nighttime? Can
I
nighttime
disagree with the
try
pace
and-
projector.
Can nighttime do
Nighttime
it?
is going.
Yeah, nighttime
and
probably
I don't
go.
think that's going to help Irish Front because Irish Front's inside of him. Don't forget, Irish Front was the outside last time.
But it's 7/8. And, I mean,
Okay.
he can just let him go and get outside of him. I don't think that's going to be too difficult.
You
here.
say it like it's so easy, number one. And number two, it's not in his best interest. And I think Nighttime is going to get an aggressive ride in here from Luis Saez.
Yeah.
And he's going to go. Source had real speed as a 2-year-old. Nighttime, by the way, is not a total bum. I mean, he actually ran some okay races as a 2-year-old. It's his first start back. It's a very tough spot. But I don't think he's impossible. What about Blind Willie McTell? What's wrong with him?
Nothing.
I mean, you like Alpine in that tough Amsterdam tomorrow,
Yeah.
so
Nothing wrong with him.
it feels like his last race he needed it. I think he's very dangerous. In
I
here.
do worry, though, if the pace is not that fast.
He's not slow. He can be close. What's slow about him? Why would he be badly compromised by a slow pace? And I don't. By the way, I don't see this pace being slow.
Okay.
I don't say it's going to be a supersonic pace. I think it'll be a fair pace.
Okay.
I wish
I
Famous
got him
was
second.
Yeah. I like Wild Medagliadoro, and I was talking to David about this. I disagree with him. I don't believe he'll be a 3-1 third choice. I think you're going to see Irish Front maybe at a shorter price and Blind Tell a clear-cut second choice, and I think I might get as much as 4-1 on him. I'll tell you something about Wild Medagliadoro. And
Irish Front will probably be
I
short, right?
might be wrong about this. I think he's a dirt sprinter. And I think he's been spending most of his career possibly running in the wrong races because his first start, he ran a very good second with a real trip behind that runaway Absolutely Aiden who finally got his act together for the Asmussen barn.
Yeah, he's been good.
And in his next race on a track that was extremely kind to inside speed, Code of Honor wired the field in one of the slowest paces of the meet. And this horse was trying to circle the field with a wide trip against an inside track that was kind to speed. He ran super finishing second that day with an 82 buyer figure in his second start with everything going against him. Now, I know he's done okay in those turf races and longer races, but I'm thinking that maybe this horse has just been in the wrong races his whole career, and because he's Medagliadoro, I think 6 to 7 might be perfect for him.
Maybe you're right. The only other time he sprinted was on turf, and he ran into the front run of the Fed.
Right, he didn't run badly.
No, he didn't. Got beat less than 2 lengths. So, yeah,
Of a
you make a
layoff.
good case for him.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at this race and I didn't like his last race, but Curlia Muon's pretty good. I think this horse might be a dirt sprinter. We'll see. Race number 9, and now the Cassies are off the dock. They could win like 5 or 6 races last week.
That's what happens.
I'll tell you what a nice guy Mark Cassie is, by the way. When this horse lost his second race, I think he was something like 1 or 2 for 30 or 40 at the meet, and he was a heavy favorite. And I needed a guest for the Thursday show, and I believe that somebody had just backed out. I texted him about 20 minutes after the race and asked him to be in the show. He said, "Sure, I'll be there." That's Mark. So
There are very few people.
Generous guy with his time. Yep. So race number 9, the Lake George, and I hate to compliment him, but I really like that Martin cut this race back to a mile, and that we're running the Wonder Again at a mile, because one thing that's missing for 3-year-old turf fillies are mile turf races.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did this. We'll take a look at Sweet Melania easily winning the Wonder Again. Is she going to be loose in the lead? Isn't Luis Saez supposed to go with Velvet Crush?
I mean, Velvet Crush is supposed to be the one
to
that
go.
gives Sweet Melania fits today.
Or maybe she said second to her.
Maybe Sweet Melania sits second to Velvet Crush,
Yeah,
or vice
Louis,
versa.
how is Louis not going to go?
She's supposed to go. She is absolutely supposed to go, and she's faster. In her dirt races, she's faster than Sweet Melania. Again, intent, right? What Jose Ortiz has the rail going a mile on the inner turf. Do you want to give that position?
No, I don't think he's going to give it up, but I think that Saya's going to go.
At what cost do you give it up? At what cost do you give the lead up? This filly, she has won from just off the pace, but has she really? I mean, she's taken over at the half-mile pole in these races. I wouldn't want. She's 8-5.
That last race was a complete gift.
She's 8-5, and
complete.
I mean, there was
total
no
gift.
other speed in the race.
Barkley's
and now
horse
she's
must
going
have
to
got
have
hurt.
to.
Highland Glory.
Oh yeah, your filly hasn't been around.
I know.
I don't know. And now, she's 8-5 in a grade 3. Are you going to start taking her? You're going to start taking her out of a game? I don't know.
No, I'm not saying, but I think the pace may get a little bit stronger on a course that's taken a little bit of rain. You, of course, have Selflessly on top.
Velvet Crush is the only reason I did not put Sweet Melania on top today.
Okay.
The only reason. If she scratched,
so
I would have changed my
Selflessly, who
picks.
David Cohen is riding. I only know that because
David Cohen.
Anthony told me. This is the Miss Grillo. Why is she going to run better today?
I got to hope that she was just one of these horses that came back off the layoff that didn't fire first. Hold on.
She was hideous.
Hold on. She had no setup last time. She was awful.
Anthony,
she was awful.
She was close to the slow pace.
She was awful. She was awful. Well, you know what? I'm hoping that maybe if she gets to do like she did in the Miss Grillo, settle a few lengths further off the pace and make her one run, she'll be better. I'm grasping. This is a little bit of a hope, but you know what? This is a horse that
I put the horse third out of pity.
She was 5-2 last time. She's got to be 8-1 in here today.
Yeah, those Chad Brown horses in turf stakes, they go off 8-1 routinely, especially with the grade stakes in the past.
Sweet Melania has to take money. Micheline has to take money. Wittez has to take money.
She has to take money.
Cat's Pajamas has to take money, and she has to take money. So there's 5 horses that are going to take the money. I think she's going to be 8-7, 8-1.
Right.
I'll take my chances.
Eric E.O. is joining the group over there. You sure you don't want to go over there?
Now I do.
So, yeah, okay. I like Micheline. When did you print these PPs? Because they may have corrected the chart, right?
They did.
She finished 6th last time. It was originally as 8. This is her winning the Honey Rider. And Highland Glory got a lousy trip and should have won the race probably, but Highland Glory is a very good horse. Joe Bravo gave her such a bad ride in her last race that you feel like they should have got their money back. And it's that typical.
Gave her a good ride there.
Gave her a great ride there. Gave her an embarrassing ride last time out. First of all, I don't know why he just sort of completely took her out of the race. And then he made the move, which any rider that goes 5 or 6 wide around the 5/16 or 3/8 pole in a turf race and moves prematurely wide, they have to give Joe Bravo some money, right? I think he's patented that move. And she actually did not run badly in what was a very, very tough race. And when you think about the Mike Maker horse that finished 2nd in the Lake Placid and the Saratoga Oaks.
Sky.
Well, she finished right with Micheline in that race, and Micheline got a much worse trip. I think Micheline's a pretty darn good horse, and she's going to get a good trip in here. I like her chances a lot today.
I want one.
Getting Joel Rosario from that ride.
Yep.
And you're right. Joe gave her a decent ride 2 back. He gave her a horrific ride last time.
Yeah. I want 1s, 2s, and 8s. I want 1s, 2s, and 8s.
Well, I mean, I know Wheatez got a setup last time, but why is she so bad? I mean, she lost by a length and a half, to Crystal Cliffs, who's the horse that finished 2nd in that Regret, and she's a good horse. Another horse is probably on the shelf for Grand Motion, right? Because she missed those big races.
She might want longer.
What's that?
She might want longer.
Then she would have run in the Saratoga Oaks.
She would have run the Oaks, yeah.
True. I mean, I don't think Wheatez is. I mean, I don't love her, but she's okay.
I don't either. She's the 4th one in for me.
What about Cat's Pajamas? Speaking of Grand Motion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
didn't she kind of have a good trip last time?
She did. She did not run well last time. I do not disagree with you. She did not run well, but she did run well in her prior races.
Yeah, but Lashara really hasn't been much. She hasn't run well.
She ran 2nd in that tough allowance race to Duopoly last week.
She ran twice, didn't she?
She ran 2nd to Duopoly. So incorrect. She's run fine.
I thought she ran one good race. Well, then she ran one good, one bad. She ran twice.
The pace did fall apart in the Placid, however you want to look at it, slow pace or not. I just think she's okay.
I think.
What about Jack Sixerson's horse? Wind Racer.
Well, a little bit of a wild card, right?
Well, she didn't break, and she just ran by that field and got through it between horses. I don't think she's good as these.
She was gone a year, too. She won that effort.
She's probably not good enough to beat these horses, but she's actually not that bad.
She'd need to take a
big step up. Big step.
A big step. She would almost need a half a dozen horses to not show up.
No, she'd need a couple. I'm not saying to
win.
To win?
No, you want to use her in the gimmicks? Yeah,
no, I don't think she's going to win, but I don't think she's a bad horse.
Okay.
I think she's actually okay.
I don't disagree.
I kind of like that race in Arlington. You're right, though. She has to improve immeasurably. This is not an easy field. Interesting race. We'll see.
Interesting race.
Race number 10. Not quite as interesting, off the turf. And this will be running 1 1/8 miles. I really feel like these races should be cut back to 7 furlongs. I don't know how you do it. I almost feel as though I wish you could. I mean, I understand you're going to confuse
what
the
if you
public.
do maiden races back to 7 and then winners races going on?
Yeah.
Ricardo Santana
Anthony,
Jr. on the...
You make a great point.
Thanks.
Martin's over there. You want to tell him?
No, I'm good. Ricardo Santana Jr. on the 7, Spin Your Partner. Joel Rosario will ride the 11, Mizzen the Mark. So those are your two
Who's on the
riders in
7?
there. Santana on the 7, Rosario on the 11, who draws in, obviously, from the MTO.
He must be happy to get that mount.
Yeah. Well, glad to see my man Dominic Scatino with the wherewithal to ship.
We both have Rudy on top.
Yeah.
I did not put the stats in. Do you know the stats?
I don't.
Maiden off the claim on the dirt, 14 for 28, 50%, 434 ROI.
I couldn't have given you the exact
races. In off the turf races, he's 3 for 7.
Yeah. I couldn't have given you the exact stats, but I do know that this is something Rudy does very well.
And he's done well with blinkers on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's even on the short stats here. He wins at 30% first time blinker. So
I do worry about 1 1/8 miles a little.
Sure. I mean, and from the 6.5 to the 1 1/8 miles, yes, I don't disagree with that. But man, there is.
See, I think it's a 2-horse race between that horse and Spin Your Partner.
Okay.
Beyond Brown was so bad last time, it's almost impossible to believe how bad this horse was. I mean, that was a 4-horse field. It was effectively a 2-horse race, and she was awful walking along in the front end. What's wrong with Spin Your Partner's last race?
Nothing.
I mean, I'm looking at Spin Your Partner's last race, and I'm wondering if this isn't the right surface for the horse.
Yeah. She's the half to, they put her on the turf because she's the half to that.
Yeah, she's related to somebody good.
I can't remember.
Let me ask you a question. Speaking of Spin Your Partner, how is your square dancing game?
We've had this conversation. In 6th grade.
You've got to be a tremendous square dancer.
6th grade. Harry Rosenblum, original owner of Whitmore, good friend. I have never met Harry, but I know him since I am 8 years old.
He's a good friend, but you've never met him.
We talked to him on a phone, for social media. Him and my dad did some business, but my dad met him once or twice. I never met Harry Rosenblum. 6th grade, square dance, PS 207. Was not going to embarrass myself. Now, I'm like most big guys, I can dance. I would have no problem square dancing now.
Can Kaka
line
dance?
dancing,
Kaka's
square
a good
dancing.
dancer?
Kaka can dance.
Yeah, okay.
I would bet a lot of money. Kaka wears Hawaiian shirts. He can dance. I called Harry. I was like, look, I'm not dancing, but can you help me call a square dance? And Harry was like, yeah, no problem. And for like a week, Harry and I did like a half hour on the phone each night. And one of the big lines, I called the square dance. I have video of that. I have video of me calling the square dance and as the Scarecrow in the 5th grade Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, we got
video. Well,
we need to have a best of Anthony Stabile as a child at some
round
point.
And round. Do-si-do, your partner. Once around the town. Those are the two things I remember.
Where do you think I stood in square dancing?
I think...
badly.
Yeah, you're a -0 buyer on square dancing for you. That's what I think. I'm in like the 108 range on the call. The call was good. The calling the square dance was fun. Wow, 32 years ago.
Should we wrap things up?
Yeah, Johnny I has a lot of changes.
You might want to get out of here. He can't start for 3 minutes anyway.
Okay.
But you want to get out of here before Adam comes after what you did to him today.
What I did to him.
It's an embarrassment. It really is. It's the low point of the meet for you, without question. Anyhow, it's been a pleasure. Excellent card tomorrow. Looking forward to tomorrow's races.
Yes.
Sword Dancer's an interesting race. You've got the usual crew with some different horses in. The Forgo came up a super, super interesting race. I'm sorry, obviously, Vacoma's not running. We do hope I guess he had a foot bruise. We hope he gets better.
Foot bruise looks like the Vosberg.
I know, but he's been a horse that's had his issues, so I hope he can get back because he's a terrific horse and known Randy Hill a long time and like to see him do
Randy will be represented by Funny Guy.
He will be. He will, but it's not Vacoma. But he is running well. I agree. That's a terrific race. I agree. The Amsterdam's a fun race. I think it came up a very fun race. And what's the other stake? Oh, the Saranac came up a big field.
4 fantastic stakes races tomorrow.
Yeah, an excellent card. Big fields throughout the day. Yep. So You know, a little bit of rain comes tomorrow. Do not be daunted by that. It's an excellent, excellent card.
You know where you
tomorrow.
should play it?
Naira Bets. If you're not playing it through Naira Bets, you really need to reevaluate your life if you're not playing through Naira Bets. You're making a lot of mistakes, and correcting this mistake would be the start to getting things turned around. You got to support racing. I'm telling you, you cannot. This game cannot afford to have money going in the hands of investors. It needs to stay in racing. And
Bingo.
playing through Naira Bets, the money stays in horse racing
Bingo.
and benefits horse racing and keeping horse racing going. And to me, there's nothing more important. And I'm not. Listen. You're going to play through some other AEW, that's your business, but you should be playing through an AEW that's putting this money back into horse racing like Naira Bets is. And all of them aren't. Some are, but all of them aren't. And to me, there's nothing more important in this game for all of us. Keeping this game going is tricky. Free $25 play will match up to $200 your initial deposit. Use the promo code Derby25. Become a member of Naira Bets. We'll give you $5 if you bet 25 or more on the last tier and the fourth at Del Mar through the app. Martin's had enough. He's getting up. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Bankroll Builder, 50 or more to win. And anybody in the Sword Dancer, win or lose, you'll get $20 back next weekend.
That money will be in your account
Derby.
on Thursday, September 3rd.
The Sunday contest, $250 buy-in, only play through Naira Bets, live money. We'll seed the pool with $2,500. Register now, Naira.com/challenge. Finally, Michael's here, checking the waters. Enough waters, Michael? I'm not on the set today, so I don't care. Leave him blank. Leave him empty of waters.
So selfish. So admittedly selfish. Wow.
Saratoga Live. Watch it all summer. You know it's not true. Naira.com/Saratoga Live to find out what networks we're on. We're on from 1 to 6:30 today. And, of course, you can always watch on the Naira YouTube channel. Anthony, it was a pleasure today.
You're amazing. It's all you're worried about is yourself, and you don't want to leave water for anybody else.
Johnny I, the voice of New York racing, is up next with a reprise of the Scratches and Changes.